Hi, I'm Margaret Martin, and today my topic is fractures of the spine, also known as compression fractures, also known as vertebral fractures, and the importance of not taking them lightly. So a recent study looked at how about 12% of my listeners, 12% of people that are postmenopausal are going to have a vertebral fracture in their lifetime. But only 1/3, so less than 4% of those fractures are brought to the attention of the doctor and therefore are brought to the attention of the individual. Now this is, to me really striking, because not only am I seeing people with 1 vertebral fractures or 2 vertebral fractures, but by the time they come to see me, by the time they're first diagnosed, they actually have 5 vertebral fractures. This is really, terrible, because it so affects their quality of life. And so then they become fearful of moving, and it's, a vicious circle. Now, what are some of the symptoms? So if you're wondering, do I have a vertebral fracture? What are the symptoms? These are if you have, any of these symptoms, especially a combination of these symptoms, you should ask your doctor to be assessed to assess you for a vertebral fracture. So what were the 6 predictors? The 6 predictors are: you're over the age of 60. 2, you have a history of a previous fracture, whether that's a wrist fracture or toe fracture. You have a shorter duration of back pain. So don't, disregard back pain that only lasts a couple of weeks. You find that your back pain might not be sharp, but a lot of people with vertebral fractures will describe their back pain as crushing in nature. The 5th thing is that your back pain actually gets better when you lie down. And the 6th thing, unlike people with sciatica, your back pain most likely will not be, if it's from a vertebral fracture, will not be going into the leg. And so if you have, especially more than 2 of these predictors, then do get a workup, because you need to know whether or not you have a vertebral fracture. My clients come to see me after they've been diagnosed sometimes months, and no one's told them that their vertebral fractures can get worse. Just because your spine has compressed 70%, it doesn't mean that it can't keep compressing. If you have a compression fracture, it is so important for you to be really meticulous about your alignment, because those fractures will get worse. And not only will the actual fractures themselves get worse, but you are at a higher risk of fracturing more and more levels. So that's one thing. But all is not lost, okay? Number 2 is a recent study, and older studies, but they weren't as carefully done or as long, looking at the impact of exercise, very specific exercise, on bone and on vertebral fractures. And so, recent studies showing, 12-month duration of exercise had a very positive effect for people who had experienced vertebral fractures. The outcome being that after 12 months, they had a significant improvement in quality of life. They had an easier outcome of doing their tasks of daily living, so their functional mobility was improved and their balance was improved. All of which to say that even though you have been diagnosed with a vertebral fracture, and if you're not sure, have it investigated. And if you are investigated, do intelligent exercises, avoid all forward flexion, follow the guidelines that, I have on my blogs and in my book, and play safe and know that you can still improve your quality of life and you can still be stronger. Thanks for tuning in.